This
10 o'clock.
conference will now be recorded.
Can
Are
hear
you
you
able to?
fine, Dan. Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, I can hear you. Last time my
All
mic
right,
wasn't
great.
working. For some reason it goes in and out on
No, no.
this.
We got Roberts on the phone. We've been yakking away for about half an hour or so about some other stuff.
Cool.
Good morning.
Morning.
But by the way, Dan, have you been doing some of the study that is recommended for this?
No, I just got access from John's email earlier so that I can go into the platform here, but we have a few other projects going on right now and I'm leading all of them. And I'm still,
Okay.
that's all aside from my normal job that I do. So I don't have a lot of time to do anything right now.
Okay. I was just curious. I'm referring. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but I'm referring to the curriculum. That's really what we're talking about. Is what should constitute the curriculum. I thought maybe if you were somewhat familiar with it, you could sort of weigh in. But that's fine. That's fine. This is we're gonna your training will consist of just in time,
Okay.
as needed for now. Just given your obviously you've got very little time, and I get that.
Yeah,
So
I'm trying to
you're
set
in
some
now, right?
aside for this definitely.
What's that?
I'm in the platform. I was able to get on using the link John emailed.
Beautiful. So you're able to see the drop downs and what we've done. Now, can I give you the screen? I just want to see which one you're in, just to make sure what you're working with.
Yeah, I'm in the sales. I went into the sales one there, but let me.
Right, the main one that we've been working with from the start, right?
Yes, I'll pull it up real quick so you can see.
Yeah, I just want to see what you can see and make sure it's exactly what I have here.
It's sharing now.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Great. Okay, you've got the job opportunities. Good.
Yeah.
And you're able to see job orders, click on the applications there. How is it? Okay, now that's something I don't have on mine. Okay, yeah, there's that dreaded, okay, yeah. Click on training sites, please. Okay, yeah, so we've got the training sites, applications 2, applications 3. Let's see, oh gosh, okay, this has all the other stuff. Work requisition, yeah. Okay, there's Victor. Maybe Victor was busy while I was. Okay. Hey, Victor. Good morning. Yeah, we're just confirming that what it is that Dan can see right now. Go ahead and click on one of the. Let's see now. Oh gosh. Oh, veteran contacts. Just go ahead and click on that. Okay, and now click on a. Okay. Well, that drop down up top where it says veteran contact information, that little arrow down. There you go. All contacts. I just want to see what's there. Okay. All right. Looks like this is new information that got plugged in. Victor, was that you that did that, or?
Which
You're looking at Dan's screen right now, and this looks very different from what I worked on last. And I thought we were going to get on the phone at 9, so I'm kind of hitting you with some stuff I would have talked about before.
Yeah, this looks so you're in the regular system that we put together, because
the regular system. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so now I think Robert was also editing similar things. So
Okay. Well,
I know if you hit now this data that's new looks like data that Robert put in. That's my guess. And then if
Robert?
you click on it, is he online?
Yeah, good morning.
And John Casares here too.
Hey, John.
Good morning, John. So what we're looking at, right? This is the 365 sales application. Like if you look at the very top where it says 365 and then sales,
Right.
This is the extensions on the left. If you see business processes and then extensions, the military affairs solution, which is what everyone's been kind of working on, adding to, adjusting, and so on, that has been implemented in Dynamic 365 for sales. So, for example, veteran contacts, that is an entity that I created. That entity can then be added to brand new apps, brand new solutions, and so on. And that seems to be what has been done here. And the information attached to this entity, the test contact, that was what I've been entering to kind of see if it's kind of working the way I envisioned. The
Okay.
zip
Now,
codes, but
sorry to do this. I just want to make sure that we're really focused for this call because we're at a critical juncture here. We need to balance the training value against the need to, get this thing moving so we've got it completely deployed. One of the things I wanted to mention, I did communicate with Julie, who's in Hawaii until Thursday, but I gave her status. She wanted a status report, and I gave her a status update. And I said, well, look, she said, under no circumstances. I said, are there any burning issues here? She said, under no circumstances should you split out the contacts into two separate entities. You absolutely, John, I'm assuming you agree with that.
Absolutely, and that's why I was kind of wondering what was going on here in this conversation, but
So-
yes.
Okay, so here's what I want to do is I think what we need to do at this point is we need to, and this is for John and partly for Dan, we've taken Victor, each of Victor, Robert, and I have taken essentially a separate paths at implementing this. Victor and Robert have started something up in the out of Power Apps, and I have actually continued to work with the military affairs thing. I actually did something over the weekend that doesn't look anything at all like this. Looks a lot more streamlined. And by the way, Sarita, you're on the line. I think maybe by now you've got something from John Kassar. I would like for you and for Daniel Wilson, who's not on the phone, to also have access to this environment so that you can build your own ideas and then maybe share what works with the rest of us. But that's just an update on where we are. So you can see, for example, you see vets down here. That's what Victor has, or I'm sorry, that's what Robert is working on. We're calling it VETS, by the way, Veteran Employer Tracking System. Seems to be a good placeholder for now, if that. But you got another one by Victor here, and you got two other ones by Victor. Now, we've taken two different approaches. I think we can discuss the structure of each one and why, what's really going to work eventually. One of the reasons, and John, here's where we need your help, is I've really been stymied in, continuing on with the military affairs solution within the sales application, because for one thing, I'm not able to get the lookup. I can't create a new application, which is an entity that I created. I can't create a new record so that then I can do the lookup to the candidate and the job order, right? So that's a place we're really stuck. There's a couple of other places we're stuck too, but we can, if you like, what I'd like to do at this point, and then we can go into what Robert and Victor have done, and Sarita and Daniel can certainly do now by having their logins. But let's see. Let me just take you here to this. Okay, I'm going to move this over to here, and then go.
You want me to stop sharing?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're sharing. I will go ahead and go take the sharing over, and just really show you real quick, just based on the native solution that we created, that John and I created some time ago, and we could start with that. All right. But I want to show you that basically, I think what I was able to do is boil these down to just the essential entities that we need. right? We need contacts.
You need to share your entities. You
Oh,
need
I'm
to
sorry.
share your screen, excuse me.
Okay. Okay. Where are we here? Okay, go to meeting, share. Yeah, thanks. Okay. So we've got the, right, so what I've got here is the essentially we've got the context of which we only need one entity. We're going to have to still figure out a way to partition the candidates from the employer contacts. But Julie said, yeah, don't worry about that. We'll be able to do that in a way so that Dan can own his and Carol can own her set of contacts with the appropriate views. So that's not a problem. Employer, right? That's the account entity, no problem. Job order is the one we created, which is a child to the employer, right? It allows you to associate a job opportunity with, or multiple job opportunities to the employer, right? Makes sense? And then finally, well, let's see. Oh gosh, where's I don't see the application in here. Okay, that's weird. I don't know what happened to that, but the application, maybe I got rid of it because it wasn't working and I can create a new one. The application entity is a brand new entity. And again, I just want to make this real clear that links the job order to the candidate, right? So it allows you to report on and to view which candidates are applying to which jobs, and vice versa, which jobs candidates have applied to in their respective records, right? And obviously the employer is tied to the job order, right? So that's what really allows all of this to happen and satisfy the requirements of Dan and Carol for tracking, the activity of candidates. Now, we could maybe use part of this time to recreate that application entity and make the grid in each of the contact and job order records so that it shows up with the appropriate related records. But I don't know if we need to solve that. So I'll shut up and John, you probably have some
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I just wanted to also give Robert a chance to, let's see, maybe I can just drive just for the sake of, where are we here? Okay, well, this is the view here. And by the way, this is what I have. I think you had a bunch of, Dan, you've got a bunch of components and I still have just the sales components here. I'm not able to see what you were able to see. So that's kind of baffling.
I think it looks like we see all the same stuff just down, where was I at? Okay, now that I'm looking in here, I'm back in the sales environment and mine looks the same as what I see on your screen.
Oh, really? Because you were seeing new requisitions and, things like that Robert, I guess, had put in here. And I'm not sure how that happened. But Robert, okay. Yeah, Robert was, let me just see if I can go here real quick. Let's see, is this something, yeah, we can access it from here. So Robert's is basically built from the Power Apps. And so he created an app straight away from zero. All right. And so what it looks like here is, just give this a chance to propagate. Okay, so yeah, we've got the basically views here, but you can go to you go to the contact record and he's got all the basic information, right? With a tab and blah, 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 blah. You've got company, you've got work. Well, yeah, the company stuff is pretty much also got, general and profile information, nice clean organization there. And then the work requisition, that is what I call job order, right? Am I right, Robert?
Yeah, essentially, it's just going from this statement of work. Essentially, the opportunities that are available, that whatever they'll be matched with veteran candidates.
Okay, yeah, and I'm just running through this just for the sake of time. I apologize, otherwise I would give you the thing, but I just want to kind of compare it and highlight what's different about this approach versus the one that we're taking with the original application.
And just
right,
to
so you got
interrupt
veteran.
real quick, John, what I was looking in when I dropped down from the Dynamics 365 at the top is Dynamics 365 Custom. It still comes up as sales on the top bar, but that's where all those extensions were.
Oh, okay, okay. So basically here.
Yeah. Yep. And then if you go to
Okay. Well, John, I'm sure he's probably chomping at the bit to tell us where we're going astray and where we're, what we need to be doing here. So with that, you see that we've taken I'm sorry, go ahead.
if you scroll down on the left there, that's where all those extensions were, just to the right of where you're at right now in that top window.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. Oh, wow, interesting. All right. Now, so Robert, this kind of looks something. Well, this is something Victor created, these applications, but I think the work requisition is something you created, but you did it in Power Apps, not in the applications. So,
which is the background. So just so you know, Power Apps is the platform, the development platform, or low code, no code development platform for developing a point solution that might be needed for whatever. And then it's also the same platform that the solutions of sales, customer service, marketing, field service, project service automation, that all these applications are built on. So yes, Power Apps is the platform, if you will, overall.
okay, so it looks like, so for example, applications is something that I created in the in the original app using that John and I first created off of the sales application. Job orders, or I should say, and then training sites and job orders and applications are the ones I created. Applications 2 and 3, Victor created. And then I think you introduced estimates just to test to see if we could use that entity. That's my guess. Veteran contacts, that's maybe
Robert. Yeah.
And then job requisite. So all of this list contains entities that that 3 different people created at one point. And what we want to do is get this thing down to the 5 basic entities that we really need, and we need to get them working together. And one start is this application thing where, if you can't even create, there's no way to create a new application in here, right?
So John, we can go round and round in terms of what I wanted to do, but the goal was to do everything in the sales application. Then we would create a custom application with just the entities we needed and just the navigation that was required in a custom app. So it would be a drop down at the top. It would be Veterans app, whatever we want to call it, Microsoft
right. Off of
Veteran Affairs. Correct. Yes, and everything else would go away.
Right. The problem, John, just FYI, we could not make stuff that was inadvertently put in there to go away, and more importantly, we could not get this new entity to work in that app. And so we thought, okay, if we build it from scratch, as you would put it, buy a new needle. So that's what Dan and Victor were doing with the Power Apps, is to try to see by building it from scratch, we could make this thing work. But we've been stuck with this for a couple of weeks now.
Okay. So do we want to try to resolve that right now and just see what's going on?
That would be huge. I think that would be what breaks us loose here.
Okay. So is that what we want to do for the rest of the time we have?
Well, until we can resolve it, and then if there's more time left, it would be great to open it up. but I think that's right now that's our burning platform.
Okay, so so I know Dan, Microsoft, you're on the line. Your call if you want to be on this, since we're just going to be going through some technical development here. So I just want to be cognizant of your time.
Okay, cool. I actually opened up some time to make sure I could be on, so I'm just going to hang out and kind of see where you're going through with this.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, John, can you make me the presenter, please?
Yeah. Okay. John Kassar. Okay, you are center stage.
Okay, you should be seeing my screen here.
Yes.
Okay, so let me just close this down. Okay, which one am I looking at? Okay, so I'm in the right one here. All right, so this is still the sales app, which is fine. Okay, for now, I mean, could I have developed everything from scratch, and maybe I should have done it a little easier so it wouldn't be this navigation, all the sales stuff? Yes, I could have, but it was also because it's using the same platform. When you create an entity, you can use that entity in any app you create. So really didn't matter very much. So let me go here to the administration area.
So just to be sure, what you're saying that it might have been easier to create this from scratch, but we would have had to maybe do a little bit more customization. We wouldn't have been able to import or bring over, some of the standard functionality that may prove to be useful in this.
In a way, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So here are, actually, I wanted to go to the solution. Sorry.
So Sarita and Daniel Wilson, you guys hopefully received your access to this so you can play around with this too. And I would encourage you to do that. Although I'm going to ask that you reserve the development in the original app, the one that John is going to be accessing now, to me, unless we are working on it together. I just want to make sure we're not stepping on each other.
Okay. So under here, we have these various things here. These are the other ones that you guys are trying to build. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes. That one, I think that's JR. Yeah, that would be mine. I haven't really done anything with that, but that's really just my playground, to see. Oh, okay. I do have the same entities that are the essential entities in there, but I don't think I've done. And I did import some of the forms. I think they got imported with them, so it's
right, because the moment you add in the entity, again, this is one database in and of itself with all the entities in it. It is one platform. I need to really drive that home. You're hearing me drive this home. This is one platform for any app you want to develop. And this one platform has all of the database entities in it, whether you use them or not. Accounts, contacts, opportunities, leads, cases, all of that stuff. It is one. And the only thing we are doing when we're creating these solution files is we are grabbing, and specifically we are grabbing just the entities with the specific forms you want, the specific views you want, specific dashboards you want, literally like a surgeon going after one specific thing in the body, not the entire body. So, and it is that important, because if you don't do it that way, importing the customizations from one system to another cannot work or will not work. You have issues. Okay, so we have our job order here, and this one works okay, if I'm not mistaken. Correct? The job order itself, this one-to-many. So if I go,
yes, it does
here, and if I go back to my recent sample company, the one-to-many job orders works just fine right here. So I can see that. I get it up, no problem. I can see the detail here, the job description here, the application I know is not working, the system file. These are some, system fields here. Look for employer. I'm not sure why that's there, but okay. Sample company. Okay, so this is working. What's not working is the one-to-many relationship to the job applicants here.
That's correct.
Okay, so if I go back here, are you calling this the applicant right here? Is that what
No, that's not the, no, that's the applicant is the contact, right? That's the person. And the person, the application is what links that person to a specific job order.
Okay, which of course isn't working right now. So I'm just going to delete this, and we'll figure out, just develop that new needle as we discussed. Trying to find the needle in the haystack, not working. I'm just going to go buy a new needle. Okay, so I'm going to delete this one entity here, and it may not let me because it's got other relations. We're going to find out. Cannot delete. Show technical details. Download log file. So I think you have some relationships that you've tried to set up here in the application. Let's see if you have the one-to-many, any one-to-many here.
Most of those, by the way, I didn't create. Those are just propagated by the system, no doubt.
Let me write this down. Bear with me. I got a pen.
So it doesn't allow you to break it. Once those things are locked in, John, you have to back them out individually, like the surgeon you were talking about, right?
I got to back them out individually before I can delete the entity. Correct. Okay, so let me just do this here. All right, so on the form applications,
Yeah, there's 2 lookup fields on that.
Okay. Let's try if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. I just thought of something. Yeah, okay. Well, let me here.
Sometimes you have to kind of close it and then open it back up again, I found.
No, I actually have to publish it because I've changed the settings to that one field.
Ah, okay.
Job order.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
So as you see here, the job order is a reference to this application, so I needed to get rid of it so that the application entity is in and of itself, all by itself, not related to anything.
Right.
Do you see what I'm doing?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Now I need to publish all these so the system knows that I've deleted some things.
I am. I live in Redwood City, but my home office is in Henry District. That's right. Good, thanks. Yeah,
And this is part of the reason why, in general, you try to bundle all the all the changes you've made, so that you publish them all at one time, because they take some time to do. Otherwise, if you did this after every change you made, you'd be doing this forever.
While this is cranking, anybody have any questions or comments?
I have a question that's a bit unrelated to this, though. I'm not sure if I should hold it to the end or.
Go ahead. I can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Okay. Earlier, the contacts. So I started kind of just creating a new app based on the statement of work, and the contacts. You have the veteran applicants and the companies. I created 2 separate brand new entities unrelated to the existing contact entity. Now, is there a specific reason why that should be one entity, the employer contacts? And because my understanding, and it's pretty limited, is that you can take but 2 separate entities and then display them, to whoever needs to see the information. And whatever outside kind of source information, like the actual name, address, and phone number and all that, can be added kind of independently by it'd be two separate people adding that information, or I'm just trying to figure out why the kind of veteran and employer contacts would need to be one individual entity.
Sure. So what you need to know is that the contacts, that the core entities, such as contacts and accounts, they have, so I can only walk and chew gum at the same time. So let me just answer your question here.
Okay.
When you look at the contacts entity, there are all types of native integrations with there. Multiple addresses, email accounts, and just everything associated with a contact. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. So you would never want to create a new contact entity, because then you would have to create all the behind the scenes look. And let me explain one last thing that's really important is if you are doing email, which most people are, of course, with Outlook, and you wanted to integrate inbound and outbound emails that you are sending and receiving to contacts, and I'm going to say this is the native contact entity within Dynamics, it's going to link to accounts. Natively, the Outlook integration links with accounts, leads. You can link it to opportunities as well, and the native contact entity, not a new contact entity you would create. So that's just one example of all the things that are going on behind the scenes, which is why you would never want to create a new contact entity.
Okay. Yeah, I thought something like that, and my plan was to just take everything that's native and then, hey, how can I apply those native items to this new contact entity? I suspect that is more work than necessary, though. So, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and really what we're trying to do is application here. Let me delete this. See if it'll delete it now. I think I've got rid of everything, but if not, I'll figure out what I didn't get rid of. Yeah, okay, details. What did I not get rid of? Okay, so there's the model-driven app, and the sitemap has got two other components. And I suspect these ones are yours, Robert, I'm assuming? These look like...
No, negative. Like I said, I kind of created just brand new entities for every, like I looked at the statement of work and then just created everything.
That VFR, anything with VFR in it is mine, John. This is Victor.
Okay.
And on that question that Robert had, the thing that I had a tough time wrapping my head around is that our veteran contacts will not, in most cases, be part of an employer. So I couldn't wrap my head around a contact that doesn't have an employer.
Which is,
in other words, it's not part of an account.
That is correct, but there's a drop-down field that you have a lookup to the account record, but you can always leave it blank, and then it's just never associated with an account or an employer.
Yeah, right. But the job orders came from the account, so it was tricky. I think that's what was tricky, and I'm excited to see how you're going to fix it for us, because the job order was at a higher level, what you might call the parent level for the account. I think it was hard then for a contact that didn't have access to the higher level account to see the job orders. But that's, in any case, that I thought that was part of the sticky situation. So I'm just explaining where it was difficult to wrap my head around it. I'm not, and again, I'm interested to learn how you resolve it.
I haven't heard much than what I.
So where did you go here, Victor? So we have these entities here. Let's see, what was the issue? VFR model-driven app. You've generated a model-driven app that's using it.
Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and back that out. I think it's a, it might be in a from the environments, from the environment. I'll work on that. Well, is there anything else that you could work on that while I
You
work
want to
on
do
it?
that? You want to do that
Yeah.
one right
Yeah.
now,
Let me see if I can do
as well as the site map. So you probably went to did you go to where, powerapps.com?
It's make.powerapps.
Yeah, and I was in I was trying to make a new environment, and I didn't think that that environment would touch this one at all. So
Oh
that's,
no. Well, once again, I'm gonna and I'm Victor. I'm glad you're bringing that up. I'm stating this not to beat a dead horse, but in a way I do want to beat a dead horse. The underlying database structure. Let me put it this way,
yeah,
Victor. Yeah.
yeah.
So
For anything CRM 882896, that is that CRM 882896. Anything that's touched there is going to touch everybody else's work.
that is absolutely correct.
Yeah, I learned that later, so then I made a new environment.
Right.
Yeah, later on I made a new environment, but yeah,
So let me see if I can delete these here.
I think we all took a few hard knocks.
Okay.
For
This is
learning,
the
it's
way.
great. For
Yeah.
developing it, it's painful.
So I'm going to delete this here.
Yes, yeah.
Delete this one. All right. So let's go back here. And hopefully we will have deleted all the dependencies where I can delete the entity, which then we can start creating our new needle or go buy our new needle, to use that example.
So does everybody else?
You're getting the dependencies then by clicking that details in that pop-up window. You could look at the log file, I guess, if you need the bits and pieces, but otherwise that screenshot that you made came from the
Correct, the details. Correct.
That's very helpful.
Yeah, because without it, without it, that would be, you'd have to backtrack all your trails and remember where you put all the bits, the crumbs.
Oh yeah, you know the difference between this and access development. So I had to take a lot of breaks this weekend.
Yes.
You and me both.
Okay, so let's go back to our entities here.
It was interesting because, you know, when I went back to delete the geography and, you know, the other entities that were extraneous or superfluous, not needed, and it was easy. I tried before and I couldn't do it, but this time around I'm not sure what happened. But maybe Victor, you cleaned out some of the underbrush that allowed me to do that.
Yeah, I suspect. Yeah, that's probably right. Because sometimes.
Because I didn't connect geography to anything, and yet it wouldn't let me delete because it said there were dependencies. And I thought, wait a minute, I didn't really do anything to that. We finally figured out how to solve that through another way. But I think these 5 entities that we have are the ones that will get us to where we need.
Yes, and yeah, and at some point over the weekend, I did see applications come up in the related tab. You saw, you know those tabs across the top, MSA or
Yes,
MSSA. So you had the applications tab across the top, and it didn't work there, but it did work eventually, and I'm not sure what iteration, which one of the 300th changes I made, but it was showing up in the related tab. So hopefully, well, let's put it this way: the pieces were, some of the pieces were working. It was just tricky to figure out which ones.
Let me refresh my screen. Okay, we'll look at our entities, and now it's gone.
Voila.
All right.
All right, that takes a little while. All right, so I'm going to create a new entity. And by the way, this was in one of the, I think this was in one of the trainings I did.
And let's call it, John, let's call it job applications, because it's just too, if we just say applications, it gets us into a lot of, it's just too ambiguous.
Okay. Now, one of the things that I want to make sure you see here, let's see here, discuss customer process. Okay, so I'm going to have, I have a hard stop at 11, by the way. I've got a meeting. So where do you want this to be displayed? So for right now, I'm just going to allow it to be displayed in sales and service and so forth. Business process to be created. This is the business process bar across the top that's typically used in a sales process, customer service process, so forth. Don't really need that right now, because if you create it, you cannot get rid of it. And John, we agreed that we were just going to have a simple drop down to where they are in the process.
Yes, although right now it's pretty ugly. I don't think Carol's going to be real happy with what she has right now. So we may want to, let's measure twice, cut once on this one.
Okay,
I agree.
so just so you know, once you create a business process flow, when you create a new entity, you cannot get rid of it. Okay. You have to recreate the entity and do everything from scratch again.
But you can modify the process flow, right, once you have it in.
You can, but again, I think let me back up. Let me explain why I'm going this way. So let me go down here to an opportunity here. Open opportunities. And if I go to, I don't know, general opportunity here. So this opportunity, I'm assuming it has a business process flow on this. We're going to find out. Yeah, it has this business process flow across the top. But if I click on qualify, if you notice, there's a number of data elements that need to be filled out before moving on. The develop has a number of data elements that need to be completed before moving on. The propose, similar. What Carol wants to know is, where are they in the process?
Right.
She doesn't have any data elements she really needs to complete. She just wants to know that they applied, they're in the interview, phone interview, in-person interview, accepted, rejected. Really simple. And that's just going to be a drop down, because she's not tracking all the things a typical, in this example, a salesperson would want to track on every stage of the opportunity. And I think we're going to overcomplicate it.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that's going to be fairly straightforward. I think the main thing is you've got that. We really need to get that applications entity working properly.
Right.
For right now.
So let's continue. Let's continue here. So I'm going to go with notes and attachments. I definitely want them to have some activities, because maybe they want to put in some activity notes. Great. Okay. They don't need mail. Well, we can use mail merge, not a big deal. Document management, don't really want to go down that route yet. We can always add that later. OneNote integration, not a lot of people are going to use it for OneNote. Allow for a quick create. Yeah, we can allow for that because we can always take that away, and I'll explain what that is here in a bit. And I'm going to start speeding up here, so because of my time commitment here. So I'm going to, and then the primary field, this is always something that is, you cannot format it. So if you want to give it a name, we don't really have an applicant name or a job name. So I'm just going to say name, do not use. This is a system field, and I'm going to make this optional, but it has to be here.
Is that like a key?
It is a key, and I really am not wanting to use it. I'm not even going to put it, display it on any forms, no nothing.
Okay, so it could be left. It could be left blank.
Correct. Yes, this one definitely can be left blank. Okay.
It's a key, but it's a okay. It's a non-numeric key, I guess.
Yeah, it's just something that is a field that must be put in. And if I was creating an entity where I could use this field for a text field that someone could just type something in, I would do it. But let's think about this here for a moment. What are the things we're going to track on the application, on the job application? We're going to track the job name. We're going to track a date field. Notice I didn't say text field. We're going to track the applicant itself, the veteran, and we're going to track what stage they are in the process.
And the employer that the job order is associated with.
The job order is associated with an employer. It's not associated with the applicant per se. It's not a direct link.
That's correct. But you want to drag the employer along with the
right. But once again, in all of those examples, not one of those is a text field. Did that make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Look up. Yeah.
So I'm just going to save this here.
So John, while this is well, I'm interested what data now is behind this. So what data is going to be behind this entity?
You're going to see it right here in a moment.
All right.
And folks, while this is happening, I have somebody expected to come here at 11 o'clock. I may have to step away, but I'll keep recording this. And
and I'm going to be stepping away as well at 11 because I got a conference call at 11 that I need to be on. And I'm not sure, it's a little slow today for whatever reason, but it is what it is. Okay, so this is the new entity. So at this point, it's created a whole bunch of default fields in the background, 19 of them, none of these being custom. It created a whole bunch of views, which again are modifiable. It created several forms that are not here, but what it has created some relationships as well, okay? But we need to further configure these to say that these are going to link to the jobs themselves. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I'm going to go to the fields area. I'm going to create a new field, and I'm going to call this applic. If I can type just better, right? Okay. And for right now, I'm going to make these optional. I can make them business required later, but I got to make them optional. Otherwise, trying to complete forms and so forth with tests is going to be a challenge sometimes. So I'm going to go back, and this is going to be a lookup field. And what are we going to look up? We're going to look up the contact name. Make sense?
that's so far looks exactly like how I did it the first time. So I'm just paying real close attention because I want to know what I missed.
Okay, and this is a save and new, so we've created a field called applicant where it's going to be a lookup field. They can just go look up contact name. And this is running a little slower than normal. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe everyone's working real hard and our pipe is slower. Okay, and the other one is, what did we call this, John? Job? Is that what we're calling this? Job,
yes.
Not job applications.
Job order, I mean,
job orders. Let's
for now,
job
order. Yeah, let's just be consistent, although it's, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to make this optional. This is also going to be a lookup field, and this is going to be a lookup field to job order. Okay. Okay, is it going? There we go. Okay, the next one's going to be status. Actually, I'm going to call it stage for now.
Stage.
And the reason I'm going to call it stage as opposed to status, there is a native field that is created in the database for every database table called status, so I don't want to confuse it. Okay?
Right.
And this is going to be an option set. And I'm just going to say
applied, interviewed.
No, phone interview.
Yeah, phone interview. Yeah.
In-person interview.
Yeah, that could, if you want to get that granular. And then, offer, and then hired. Well, offer and hired or offer rejected, but yeah.
You have to delete that last item.
Yeah, I'm going to delete that in a moment. Yeah, so offer hired, and I'm going to say not hired.
Not hired. Yeah, that's fine.
There we go. Okay.
Now you can get real. Yeah, we won't. We're not going to get. Into that. You can get real gnarly with this stuff.
Do we have any other fields? What did I say? Applicant date. Date applied. Date applied.
Yes, date applied. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's going to be a date and time. That's fine. Do we have any other ones?
Yeah, I would say date of last stage change.
We don't need that because there's a field that's a native field that's called last update. So we can do that.
How about the employer name?
Oh yeah, thank you.
Yeah, employer. Right. That's just, again, that's a one-to-one.
Now, John, couldn't that be brought over when you pick the job order?
It could be.
Well, it is. It is brought over when you pick the job order, but you also want it to be brought into the application.
What do we call these companies now, or what do we call them? Do we change them to employer?
Employer.
It wasn't under accounts?
No, John changed it.
Okay.
Okay, save and close.
And Robert, we can, when you went back and looked at the statement of work, yeah, we'll want to go in and update this for what's in the statement of work. I thought what you did there was good. We just need to bring it over.
John, I'm running low on time, so I got to continue here. So job applications. So this is the job applications. We want to create a one-to-many relationship where the job, the other way around. The job order is going to be the one, and the N is going to be the job applications. Okay?
Yes.
So I'm going to set up the one-to-many relationship here. And the related entity is
job applications.
HIJ, job applications, searchable. Job applicants, optional. And for whatever reason, I just put a 1 at the end because otherwise it just doesn't stick. And I can say this is referential. I can also say it's parental. And parental means if I delete the job, all the applicants go with it. So I'm going to create it as referential so that the applications still stay. I can change this later if I want. Okay. Save and close. And the other relationship that I'm not going to do right now, but what I will want to show is I will want to show off of the contact, I will want to show the many applications that they have done. But my goal is to try to get the job thing working first. And I'm going to publish everything. And then depending on people's schedules, looking at my calendar here, I've got this from 11 to 12. I can meet with, if people, to finish this up and create the form and create the one-to-many relationship on the form to show that, I can start that off at 12 o'clock if people want to rejoin.
Was that an hour from now?
An hour from now, yeah. I've got to take this call.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Yeah, for sure.
By all means, same call in. Great.
Same meeting ID.
Yeah. Thank you, John, so much for making the time to do this. This is good progress. We're almost there.
Okay, I'll talk to you guys in about an hour.
All right, and I can stay on for just a minute. Thank you, John. See you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Sarita's just leaving. That leaves actually the let's see, we got Robert, Victor, and Sarita. I'm not sure if you're still on, but looks like you're gone.
Thank you, John.
And Daniel, Daniel as well. Daniel, I hope this has been helpful. I would really encourage you to take advantage of the, the space that John gave you. Were you able to get into that space?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Yeah, go in and Robert and Victor have really done, a lot of stuff there. We've kind of experimented with stuff. I think what I'd like to do though at this point is let's stay with what we have. Please, by all means, I would really encourage you guys to go into the Power Apps and go in and maybe try to replicate this and try to figure out what makes this thing work or what would make it work that we can apply to this particular, development. I think though, just in the interest of time, we're going to have to kind of.
Yeah, at this stage of the game though, John, we don't want any changes in the CRM 28896, whatever that environment is, because those changes, they'll step on what we're doing. We could play maybe in a different place, but anything that, and certainly I guess you could poke around in Power Apps and look and view and see, but anything that's changed is going to affect what we currently have in the whatever that project is, the military applications project inside of the CRM 882896. We don't want to play with 882896.
Okay, does that mean even, I guess you're right, because it does, excuse me.
Yeah, it seems like an odd connection, but everything that I did and Robert did, because Robert's in a Power App environment, he's still sharing the same backside database structure. He's still sharing the relationships, the one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many. He's still sharing the forms. So even though it was a different development environment, it affects the entire environment. It affects the entire environment.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah. I
for,
think I.
yeah, like the entities, yeah, like contact, like John was saying, John Cassar earlier with contact entity. That's a sales created item. And in the environment we're working in, if someone adds a field to that contact entity, someone creates a new app, adds the contact entity, that new field will be there. Um, and yeah, creating like a separate environment, that'll work. I've been trying to do like pseudo approach to that where the app that I have, all the entities are just created from scratch. So they're not pulling in. I'm not changing fields on any existing entities or anything like that. But I think a new environment is a good idea.
Well, yeah, even the things that you created on top of, you can see now they display down the left side of the navigation panel. So it brings in extra things.
Well, they have to be added to a solution manually. There's no, like, and I haven't touched that solution. Like you can add entities or components solution. Like I could create a brand new solution based off of the app that I created. Someone can create an app that doesn't have a solution at all, but in either kind of interface or portal, if you create an entity, it'll be available to anybody in the CRM 88296 environment we're working in. And I mean, you can always create a new environment, which is the development environment, and then you know what? I actually checked that because I'm not sure if you can. Like, could you create a new environment and then take the entities that we've created in this one and just like copy and paste them to the new environment?
I don't know. Yeah, that I don't know. I did create, I went to the trials and I did create for myself an entirely new, and now it's got different numbers. It's like ORG. It looks like the Contessa default one, which is a ORD or ORG number, but I see what you're saying. If you made like a new form and you didn't publish it, it shouldn't show up on the left-hand side of the navigation because you didn't publish the app to run in the CRM 882896 environment.
Well, no, if you're looking at a list of every entity available, then yeah, anybody who creates an entity will see it. But if you're looking at just the entities that are part of a solution, then the only entities you should see are the ones that have been added to that solution. So yeah, if you're looking at a list of every entity or component available, any new ones that are created by anybody will show up in that list. And I think there are ways to restrict that, but we just haven't got there yet.
Okay, so yeah, I've got to go and do a few things. If you guys want to talk, feel free. I'll be back in 53 minutes, guys.
I've got to run too, guys. I'm going to sign off.
Yeah, for sure.
Take care.
See you guys in a bit.
Good work. Hey, Robert, real quick.
Good work.
Sure. That's all right. I'll cover with you later. Got to run. Bye-bye.
I'll be here. All right. Bye-bye.